My first nightly stop, after returning to Alice, is spent exploring Stanley Chasm. Then it's west again to Ormiston Gorge for some more hikes. 3 days exploring beautiful Glen Helen station before more camping and hiking at Redbank Gorge, Palm Valley in the Finke National Park, and then Lawrence Gorge in the Owen Springs National Park.
I'm now in the West MacDonnell Ranges. I've spent the night in Stanley Chasm, which was quite spectacular. Very, very tall red cliffs and a very narrow sandy passage through it. So later on today I'm heading off to Ormiston Gorge, and then the day after to Glen Helen station. So the scenery is still spectacular. It's a beautiful morning, it's fresh, and there's no flies. I'm in the West MacDonnell Ranges, and these extend far further and probably a little bit larger than what I saw in the east. The big difference is that they're much more accessible. The roads are all paved, and as a consequence, in the East MacDonnell Ranges, if I did meet someone on the road, it was most likely a council road repair crew, or if it was a fellow traveller, they invariably were in a 70 series Land Cruiser and greeted you with "G'day." Well, out here there's a marked increase. Most of them are in Mitsubishi Outlanders, and you're either greeted with "Guten Morgen" or "Konnichiwa" as they arrive in Toyota coasters in teams of 20 or more. There's also unfortunately been a significant increase in the amount of BWCs, that's individuals with caravans. So it's still ruggedly beautiful. A lot more vegetation on the mountains here. There's more green than red, but incredibly beautiful. So I'm on my way to Ormiston Gorge for the night. I'm looking forward to that. It's supposed to be a very lovely place. So we'll get some more photos. The driving has not been a challenge. It's tyre pressures are back up to highway level, and it's an easy cruise, and I've got to say it's a bit of a treat after spending so long on rough corrugated sand roads. So looking forward to the day. It's still really early. I'll take my mates the flies with me and have a look around, and I'm sure we'll have some more wonderful experiences.
The magnificent Spinifex pigeon and the following peaceful dove have thankfully not allowed their stupidity to take them the way of the dodo.
I'm walking along the rim of Ormiston Gorge, and hopefully behind me you can see that the views are absolutely stunning. It's like all of these places, we run out of words like magnificent and spectacular and amazing, but it's relatively a cool day. My mate the flies haven't been as interested in accompanying me on this walk, which is a blessed relief. So I'm going to walk a little bit further around the top of the gorge, then descend back down into it and come back along the bottom of the gorge. But again, absolutely stunning scenery. So they're operating helicopter flights through the gorge, and I would say that they would be absolutely magnificent. I might go check those out a little bit later on today. halfway along Ormiston Gorge, and I just thought I had to show you some of the spectacular backdrop of these massive red cliffs soaring into the blue sky. It's again another incredible sight. So I'm about to make my way back down into the gorge and return back to camp for some refreshments. Glen Helen station on the West MacDonnell Ranges, and this is Glen Helen Gorge. It's again another lovely morning, and again another spectacular view. So I'm having a bit of a walk up the gorge. I'm here for a couple of days, so it's a bit of a resupply and laundry break, and quite looking forward to the next few days here. It's as usual, I keep telling you, it's a beautiful country. When I was about 10 years old, we used to visit friends quite regularly, and they had cousins who lived the next street around by the name of Skipsies. And when I was planning this trip, I was informed that one of these Skipsy kids had moved some time ago to Alice Springs, and I should look him up on his Facebook page, which I did. It turns out Barry Skipsy has become a very talented singer, songwriter and photographer, and lived in Alice Springs with his family now for quite some time. But I thought the chances of actually catching up when I was actually only driving through Alice Springs for a few hours were probably pretty slim. But amazingly, it turned out he was giving a performance at Glen Helen homestead where I was staying that particular night. So we did get to catch up, and we probably got to know each other better in the couple of days we spent together than I did as a 10-year-old. And it was a privilege to see his performance. It was just wonderful, and there's a few very short clips following this. I'll try and upload some more of it separately, but I just can't fit it all into a single episode. And after the show, we went out and did some star photography, which was quite enjoyable. Anyway, it was great to see Barry, and I'm sure you'll love his performance.
Under a big blue Australian sky, along the western MacDonnell, eagles fly. The river of gold runs to a sea of sand, and in the valleys and on plains below, Gosse gums and spinifex grows, ancient sentinels of the timeless land. For it's the heart of the soul in the center, with the spirit and a rhythm of its own. It's the heart of the soul, the very center of Australia. Alice Springs, the calling will bring you home. So at the count of 3, folks, I want to hear some train whistles, something along the lines of woo-hoo! Come on, 1, 2, 3, woo-hoo! We've got little Toot down here as well. Wonderful. Mum and Dad were doing well too. Okay, now I don't want your train whistles just yet. Okay? Yes, it's all aboard. Hear the cry again. Crying, I am the legendary gang. Crying, I am the legendary gang. I feel the spirit of the Afghans as we roll along that lonely ribbon of steel. We are sailing an inland sea. I feel the cavaliers are riding with me over spinifex to Alice Springs. And I just taught it to you. Are you ready? Big band voices. Here we go. Give me a heart among the gum trees. We love to plum trees. We sheep to the kangaroo. Holding out the back, around the front, and an old rocking chair. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of horny clotheslines out there. Clap your hands. I've been around the world a couple of times and maybe more. I've seen the sides of dandelions on every foreign shore. But when we made your last trip, the place that I adore, until then, right away. What do I tell them? Give me a home among the gum trees, with lots of plum trees. A sheep to the kangaroo, holding out the back, around the front, and an old rocking chair. You're getting better. You see me in the kitchen, knocking up a roast, Benji Moyne on toast, you and me, cup of tea. Later on we'll settle down and mull up on the porch. One, two, one bad, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a home around the gum tree. We lots of plum trees. Sheep was doing a kangaroo, closing out the back, Miranda out the front, and an old rocking chair. There's a Safeway on the corner, and a Woolies down the street, and a brand new place that's opened up where they regulate the heat. I drag them on tomorrow for a simple bush retreat, with a kookaburra full. And your 2, 2, 3, 4. Give me a home among the guns.
I'm in Gosse Bluff, or Tornala, a comet impact crater on my way to Palm Valley. I spent the night at Red Bank Gorge, again another glorious morning, and my good friend the flies have decided to stay at Red Bank Gorge, which is a wonderful idea for them. It's quite an amazing area, and I'm pretty happy I wasn't around when this thing hit. It's quite a large crater, so I'll try and get some photos, although it is quite difficult to get the perspective from the ground here, and make my way into Palm Valley. just had to stop and show you this view. The sun coming up and hitting these incredible red cliffs behind me. It's just such a beautiful sight. It's very still, and it's a glorious place to be at the moment, so I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you're enjoying some of the images here too. I've climbed up on one of the rocky outcrops and the view's just spectacular. Unfortunately the camera just doesn't do it justice at this time of the morning, and it's just absolutely magnificent. So I'll try and have a bit of a walk round and give you an idea of some of the incredible vistas that are here. So it's probably going to shake a bit, but we'll see how we go. Absolutely magnificent. Oh, I forgot to add that I'm going to miss this week's meeting again, I'm sorry. These gosse gums look like they grow out of seemingly solid rock, but they can send their roots down massive distances through the cracks in the rock and survive that way. They have a white powder on them that is what makes them glow in the moonlight, and apparently it makes a good sunscreen if you rub it on your face. I'm at the Owen Springs Conservation Park. Behind me are the ruins of the old Owen Springs homestead. It was built in 1862. But there was a previous building on the site. It was the very first station homestead to be built in Central Australia, following Stuart's expedition through here to open up the overland telegraph. So it's got quite a bit of history, and I'm enjoying my drive through the reserve and heading towards Lawrence Gorge, where I'll camp for the night. It's certainly interesting country. I'm on the old Owen Springs station, which is now a conservation park since, I don't know, 2003 or something like that. So I'm at my campsite for the night. Unfortunately, it's called Haunted Tree Ball. Apparently, whenever they camped here, the cattle always got spooked and could never be settled down. So I hope I get a better night's sleep than the cattle. And tomorrow I'll make my way out of the gorge and back to Alice Springs for a resupply before I head north.